Heidi ho, so making dinner. Message for today. Forced servitude is against the law. Slavery is against the law. So, there is no law that says you have to use a Social Security trust account. So that's a dead legal fiction, that trust account. There's no law that says you have to use the Gregorian calendar date. You should be following Hashem's calendar, God's calendar, whatever. But anyway, forced servitude, that's a contract. So everything you do with that Social Security trust account and that Social Security number, you're expressing a trust. So nobody is violating your right if you use a trust account. They're making the trust account because you're asking for the service, because you're putting your faith in other men. You're giving up your liberty to use a trust account because you need other men to fend for you. So you defend yourself, which means not fending for yourself. So that's kind of a hard one for you to wrap your mind around sometimes, but you can't be forced into servitude. You can be compelled by criminals who pirates compel other men to give up their rights and to pay them. That means they're thugs, narcissists and psychopaths, sociopaths, men who got something up there. So that's all men with the nom de guerre on their chest and a badge. Every man, which includes you if you've got an all caps name on your chest because you gave up your right. Because if you knew anything about capitis diminutio maximum, you wouldn't let anybody even put it on a plumber's uniform. So anyway, when you use that Social Security trust account, you're considered a dead legal fiction. You're claiming the name. So you're claiming to be a slave, a prisoner of war, or somebody who's mentally insane, which are above all three, basically. So forced servitude is against the law. Slavery is against the law. But it's not against the law for a man to do things to you if you do them to yourself, if you allow them to happen, which is showing who you place your faith in and that you fear other men. Because you're doing what the masses do, using that Social Security trust account. So the reason why I'm saying this is putting tags on an automobile, that's a contract. It's a commercial contract, and it's got to do with commerce. Nobody has a right to interfere with the movement of commerce, which is your sweat equity. Nobody has a right to steal your sweat equity. And all the stuff that you see going on around the world, you can see is wicked. But it's a show. It's a game. All it is a game. Because they sit around in a room and you got all these men that get together and they come up with ideas on how they're going to play games so that they can push their fiat system. And they've already told you they want a new world order. So that new world order is going to make you use digital currency, digital ID. They're going to want you to use all their stuff to live on the land. Anytime a man trespasses against your freedoms in any way, shape, or form, any of your God-given rights, and tells you that you have to fill out a piece of parchment, that is a trespass. A license to carry armaments, a license to get married, a license to forage for food, a license to travel, those are all unconstitutional. They're against the law. No man can compel you into a contract. It's against the law. But you've got to have enough balls to stand up for yourself and what's right. And the reason why you've got to have enough nads to stand up for yourself is because it's going to affect future generations. Allowing these sociopaths and psychopaths, the Epstein class, to continue doing what they've been doing for centuries is ridiculous. And if you can't see something wrong with the system that believes it has a right to racketeer your sweat equity, then there's something wrong with your brain. You're a coward. And you kowtow to what other men tell you. That's being cowardly. That's not placing your faith in God. You're placing your faith in other men. That's not fearing Hashem. That's fearing other men. And I don't care if you call yourself a Jew, a Muslim, a Christian, Buddhist, and if you're into Hinduism or whatever. I don't care. If you sign a document because other men told you, and I will say, all of us have been indoctrinated by the Epstein class, the ruling class. But those are men without souls. Those are the have-nots. We are the haves. We have a soul. They have not. So, like some people say, have yachts and have nots. Well, the have yachts have not, because they're worried about materialism. But that's the message for today. Nobody can compel you into a contract. Nobody can force you into servitude. That's against the law. It's unconstitutional. So all the laws that have been passed that you believe are a trespass against you, they're not a trespass against you. You're the one trespassing against yourself by using that Social Security trust account in the Gregorian calendar, date, and time zone act. God bless. Much love.